All right, good morning, guys. Let's go ahead and get started with lesson 11. Go ahead and take some scratch paper or some paper out for notes, and we're gonna move through this. If you're confused, rewatch the video. Okay, try the examples out on your own. Pause the video whenever you need to. Okay, ask questions if you have them. All right, I can solve problems by comparing different ratios using two or more ratio tables. That is our objective for today. Okay, we're going to be looking at some problems. They're going to give us 2 or 3 ratio tables to look at. Okay, in the past few lessons, we've been looking at just one ratio table. Now we're going to look at a couple, okay, 2 or 3, and then we're going to compare them and answer some questions that they have dealing with those different ratio tables. All right, so let's look at example 1. It says create 4 equivalent ratios, 2 by scaling up and 2 by scaling down, using the ratio 30 to 80. So if I have 30 to 80, okay, and I want 2 scaling up and 2 scaling down, okay, you can make a ratio table, all right, or you can multiply both numbers by the same number. So I'm going to multiply 30 to 80 both by 2, and I'm going to get 60 to 160, okay? Then I'm going to multiply both by 3. That's going to give me 90 to 240. Okay, and those are 2 ratios scaling up. Now scaling down, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to divide both numbers by the same number. Okay, so I'm going to divide both by 2. It's going to give me 15 to 40, okay? And then I'm going to divide both by 10. Okay, let's divide both by 10. That would give me 3 to 8. So I have 2 ratios for 30 to 80 scaling up here, and 2 of them scaling down here. Okay, now let's look at the next one. It says write a ratio to describe the relationship shown in the table. Okay, so for every 2 hours, okay, they sold 16 pizzas, 5 to 40, 6 to 48, 10 to 80. All of these are equivalent ratios. Okay, I need to find the ratio that describes it, meaning the simplest form of the ratio. Okay, so let's look at 2 to 16. Okay, I need to figure out how many pizzas they sell in an hour, in 1 hour, and that'll give me my simplest ratio. Okay, so in 1 hour, I'd have to divide this by 2 to get 1, okay? And I'd have to do the same thing to this. That would give me 8, okay? So now in 1 hour, they make 8 pizzas, and that is the ratio that describes this table, okay? Let's move on. Okay, the following table show how many words each person can text in a given amount of time. Okay, so it's showing us Michaela, Jenna, and Maria. Okay, their first ratios in their tables is 3 minutes to 150 for Michaela, 2 minutes to 90 words for Jenna, and 3 minutes to 120 words for Maria. Okay, to figure out who's the fastest, I want to figure out who the fastest is. We have to compare these texting rates, and how we're going to do that, okay, is to figure out how many words they write or how many words they type in 1 minute, okay, or text in 1 minute. So I have 150 to 3. What do you think I'm going to do here to find out how many words they type in 1 minute? Correct. We're going to do 150 divided by 3, okay, which give me 50. So now my ratio here is 1 minute, 50 words. Here, I'm going to do 90 divided by 2 for Jenna. It's going to be 45. Okay, and for Maria, 120 divided by 3 is 40. Okay, so now it's 1 to 40. So looking at this, who is the fastest texter? Michaela is, okay, because she texts 50 words per minute, okay? Okay, let's move on. If there was a fourth person, Max, who can text 55 words per minute, how can we create a table to show his texting speed? Well, easy. The ratio here is just 1 to 55. 1 minute, 55 words. Okay? I just complete the table from there. Here I'm counting up by ones. Here I'm going to count up by 55s. Okay? 110, 165, 220. Okay, and that's how we create the table. All right, easy enough. We've done this before. All right, let's move on. Let's look at letter A, making juice, comparing juice to water. So the tables below show the comparison of the amount of water to the amount of juice concentrate and grape juice made by 3 different people. Okay, whose juice has the greatest water to juice concentrate ratio, and whose juice would taste the strongest? Be sure to justify your answer. Okay, so put the juices in order from the juice containing the most water to the juice containing the least water. Okay, so we're going from the juice that has the most water, meaning it's not the juice isn't very strong, to the strongest tasting juice. Okay, so let's look at these tables. Okay, Laredo starts with 12 to 4. Okay, Franca starts with 10 to 2. Milton starts with 8 to 2. Okay, I need to figure out what the simplest ratio is for each, the ratio that describes each table. Okay, so let's look at 12 to 4. What can we divide both by to get our simplest ratio? We divide both by 4. Okay, and that would give me 3 to 1. Okay, so for every 3, I'm going to say cups of water, they put in 1 cup of concentrate. Okay, let's look at Franca. 10 to 2. Obviously, we have to divide both by 2 here. Okay, so that's going to give me 5 to 1. Okay, 5 cups of water, 1 cup of concentrate. Let's look at Milton. Divide both by 2 as well. That's going to give me 4 to 1. Okay, so now we found our tables that describe each, or we found our ratios that describe each table. Now we can put the juices in order from the juice containing the most water to the juice containing the least water. So looking at this, who contains the most water per cup of concentrate? Franca does. Okay, and then it's Milton. Then it's Laredo. So that means Laredo's juice is probably going to taste pretty strong. Okay, it has a lot of concentrate and not that much water. Okay, explain how you use the values in the table to determine the order. Okay, we found the ratio, we found the describing ratio, and compared. All right, hopefully this is making sense. Okay, all we're doing is finding the original ratio. Okay, the ratio that describes the ratio table. How we would do that, since it's not starting with a 1, okay, we have to divide. We have to find ways to divide to get to the simplest term of a ratio. Okay, to the original ratio. All right, let's move on. So, what ratio was used to create each table? Okay, like we had, Laredo was 3 to 1, Franca was 5 to 1, and Milton was 4 to 1. Okay, and explain how the ratio could help you compare the juices. Okay, all we were worried about here is who had the most water. So obviously Laredo's going to be the strongest because he has the least amount of water. Okay, let's move on. So letter B says the next day each of the 3 people made juice again, but this time they were making apple juice. Whose juice has the greatest water to juice concentrate, and whose juice would taste the strongest? Okay, so same thing here. Pause the video and try to do this one on your own. Okay, and then we'll go over it after you finish it. Okay? So you should have tried to do this on your own. We're going to do the same steps, okay? They're asking for the same thing. Okay? But now, whose juice has the greatest water to juice concentrate ratio, and whose juice would taste the strongest? Okay? And then be sure to justify your answer. At the bottom here, it's asking you put the juice in order from strongest apple taste to weakest apple taste. Okay? So let's look at this. 12 to 2, 15 to 6, and 16 to 6. Okay, what can we divide both of these by? Obviously 2, 6 to 1. Okay? What can we divide both of these by? We can't divide 15 by 6, but we can divide it by 3. 6 divides by 3, so this is 5 to 2. Okay? Then I have 16 to 6. Divide both by what? We can divide both by 2, which would give me 8 to 3. Okay? All right, those are my simplest terms. All right, so put the juices in order from the strongest apple taste to the weakest apple taste. Okay, so Franca, okay, would have the strongest taste, okay? Because for 5 cups of water, 2 cups of concentrate. Okay, that's 3 cups more. Okay? Here it's 5. Okay, and here it's 5 as well. Okay? But Milton's is next. Okay? Because the ratio is a little bit different, okay? And then Laredo would be the weakest apple taste, okay? Also, here, comparing Franca and Milton, okay? We can also compare when they have the same numbers in a row. So for 16 cups of water, Milton had 6 cups of concentrate. But when Franca had 6 cups of concentrate, she had 15 cups of water. And that's why Franca went first and Milton went second. Okay? And then Laredo's last. Okay? Explain how you use the values to determine the order. Okay? We basically just did that. Okay? So we just found the original ratio. We compared. We also compared when they have the same numbers in the ratio table. Okay, let's move on. So what ratios was used to create each table? Okay, Laredo was 6 to 1. Okay, Franca was 5 to 2. Milton was 8 to 3. Okay, explain how the ratio could help you compare the juices. Well, we can just look at these and see who has the strongest taste, okay? Who has the most water compared to juice concentrate? All right. How is the problem different than the grape juice question in part A? Okay, well, our ratios weren't going to 1. Okay, they were not, the simplest ratio wasn't 6 to 1 like it is here. Okay, this was 8 to 3 and this was 5 to 2. So we had to do some critical thinking here, okay, and here to figure out what order we were going to put it in. Okay? Let's move on. Letter C says, Max and Sheila are making orange juice. Max has mixed 15 cups of water with 4 cups of concentrate. Okay? Sheila has made her juice by mixing 8 cups of water with 3 cups of concentrate. Compare the ratios of juice concentrate to water using ratio tables. State which beverage has a higher juice concentrate to water ratio. Okay? So, let's look at this. I'm going to make a ratio table for Max and one for Sheila. Okay? And this is juice concentrate. We're comparing juice concentrate to water, okay? So juice concentrate to water. All right, and then our first one was 4 to 15. Okay, I'm going to complete the table. Okay, good. All right. Now, let's do Sheila. Juice concentrate to water. Split here. Okay. Hers was 3 to 8. So I'm going to complete my table. Okay. So now, looking at each of our tables, okay, all we did was count up using the ratios that they gave us. Okay, juice concentrate to water. And then they're asking us to state which beverage has a higher juice concentrate to water ratio. Okay, juice concentrate to water ratio. So, let's look at these two tables. Do any numbers match in the tables? If you said 12, you are correct. Okay, 12 here and 12 here. Okay, so we have to look at these because our simplest ones won't go down to 1. Okay, our simplest ratios won't go down to 1. So now 12 to 45 and 12 to 32 is what we're comparing. Okay, so for every 12 cups of juice concentrate, they add 45 cups of water. Sheila, for every 12 cups of water, or 12 cups of juice concentrate, they add 32 cups of water. Okay, so Sheila has the higher juice concentrate to water ratio because she makes 12 cups of juice concentrate to only 32 cups of water. Okay, so Sheila's is going to be the strongest. Sheila has a higher JC to water ratio. Okay, good. Okay, letter D. Victor is making recipes for smoothies. His recipe calls for 2 cups of strawberries and 7 cups of other ingredients. His second recipe says that 3 cups of strawberries are combined with 9 cups of other ingredients. Which smoothie recipe has more strawberries compared to other ingredients? Use ratio tables to justify your answer. Okay, so recipe 1, well, it's going to go over here. Just going to put R1 and R2. Okay, we're comparing strawberries, okay, S and other. All right, the first ratio was 2 to 7, so I'm going to complete my table. Okay, recipe 2 was 3 to 9. This is still strawberries to other. Okay, 3 to 9. 6 to 18, and 9 to 27. Okay, so looking at these, okay, what can we make up? Okay, let's look at this. Recipe 1, would any numbers match on this? Do any numbers match on both of these ratio tables? Okay, if you said 6, then you are correct. Okay, we see it here. So now we can compare and realize which recipe has more strawberries compared to other ingredients. Okay, so for recipe 1, for every 6 strawberries, they had 21 other ingredients. And for recipe 2, they had, for every 6 strawberries, they had 18 other ingredients. Okay, so recipe 2 has more strawberries to other ingredients. When comparing 6 cups of strawberries, there were less other ingredients added in recipe 2 than in recipe 1. Okay? So recipe 1 used a higher ratio percentage of strawberries. All right, guys. The lesson summary: ratio tables can be used to compare two units. You can also extend the values of tables in order to get comparable amounts. Okay. Another method would be to compare the values of the ratios. Okay. You find the value, which is the smallest number or the smallest ratio, and reduce terms as a fraction. Write the values of the ratios as fractions and use your knowledge of fractions to compare the ratios. Okay. When ratios are given in words, students can create a table of equivalent ratios in order to compare the ratios. Okay? All things we know. All right, guys. You're going to get an assignment with this lesson. Go ahead and get it turned in when you are done. All right? Have a great day. See you later.